Hey guys, what's up? It's Patrick here, bringing you guys episode number 5 of my Quest to 4,000 Trophies series. So today, we're sitting at 3,324 trophies. Gonna go ahead and try to push up to 3,400, but first, let's go ahead and upgrade some stuff around my base. And once again, Feature Points has been hooking me up with the gems so far for this series, so big shout out to those guys. If you want to find out a way to get free gems, I'll put a link to the video in the description below. But yeah, gonna go ahead and upgrade a couple of walls because that's all I can really do. And let's go ahead and focus on doing some good raids, try to get some trophies, and hopefully we won't have any fails. So for today, I'm going to use 2 different army compositions, but if you guys have any suggestions, I'm thinking in the next video, I'll go ahead and do some air attacks. But before we do any attacks today, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys one more defensive replay. And like I said, the defense has actually been pretty good. I've actually won 3 of my last 4 on defense. And let's go ahead and check out this guy's attack and see how he did against my base. So he's going to be using Balloon Minion. And one thing I didn't talk about with this base design is it's actually really solid. I mean, it's just a solid all-around base design. I see a lot of bases that are either geared towards protecting against ground troops or protecting against air troops, but this base actually does decent against both. And again, you can't really defend if someone does a perfect attack or if they know what they're doing, but against people that make a couple of mistakes, it actually works out for both ground and air. And that's something that's worked out for me really well, because again, I see people that do a base that has all their air defense cast away and they're all focused on getting attacked by GoWiPe and GoWiPe, and then you can just destroy them with air attacks. And then I see other bases that are really geared to stopping air attacks, but they leave themselves vulnerable to ground attacks. So I feel like this base is a solid in between, and it does sort of well against both. It's not perfect, but it does its job, and as you can see, it's won 3 of the last 4 raids, but probably won't happen as we keep climbing. And let's see what this guy is doing right now. So he's at 39%. The only thing he has left is his heroes, so he dropped his Barbarian King, his Archer Queen. He's at 45%. Shoots down the 2 buildings right there, and it looks like I did have enough damage to take care of the queen before she was unable to shoot down one last building. So things worked out pretty well. There was a builder hut right there on the right hand side that would have been nice to take out, but in the end I won 32 trophies, and that wrapped it up for a really solid defense. So defense has been really good right now. Let's just go ahead and focus on offense. I'll probably just keep this base design, and as soon as we start losing a bunch in a row, which we inevitably will, I'll switch it up and try to do something else. But let's go ahead and attack base number 1. And for this first base, I'm going to go ahead and attack using, I guess, GoVa or GoWiPe. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it. I know a lot of you guys mentioned that in the last video. I'm just going to go ahead and call it GoWiPe. And let's go ahead and attack from the very bottom of this base. And looking at this guy's base, first thing you might notice is that I have way too many wall breakers. So I'm going to use a couple of them on the left and the right hand side. And then after that, I'm going to use these wall breakers as bait. And this is pretty important. You guys can use this whether you're in Champions League or whether you're like a Town Hall 6. But look at my wall breakers and what I'm doing right now. Since I have extra wall breakers, I dropped those wall breakers early, and I actually ended up activating those 2 giant bombs. And that saved a lot of my Valkyries and a lot of my wizards and witches. So that's just a trick you can use. If you have extra wall breakers, use them as bait to find giant bombs. And it worked out really well there. And that actually might have saved the raid for me. So I knew I had extra wall breakers. That's why that worked. I dropped the rest of my wall breakers and made an entry point in the beginning of the base. Things have worked out perfectly so far. I haven't run into any giant bombs. Troops are all heading towards the center, and let's see if we can take care of that town hall in the center of this guy's base. So troops are running in, and I'm already out of my free spells. I might have dropped those a little bit early. I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to look back, but overall we've already gotten 45% in the first star, and it looks like it should be a pretty easy second star. And looking at our prospects of getting 3 stars, I'm not exactly sure because I don't think we have enough golems. So I'm going to go ahead and let my troops run around a little bit longer since this guy does have 20 trophies. It would be nice to get the final 7, but in the end, I don't think we're going to be able to get it, and we can probably just end the battle after that. So activating my King's ability, I also have my Queen's ability, but it doesn't look like we're going to be able to do too much else. Looks like there only were 3 defenses left at the very end, 2 Archer Towers and a Wizard Tower, so we actually got pretty close, and we had plenty of time. There was still a minute left, but unfortunately it didn't work out, and we ended up taking 2 stars and 13 trophies for the raid. So not bad at all. I was really happy with how I dropped those wall breakers for that raid, and let's go ahead and move on to raid number 2. So for this guy's base, I'm actually using a different version of GoWiPe. So you can see I'm using 3 golems. I'm bringing 2 P.E.K.K.A instead of 3 P.E.K.K.A, 16 wizards, 14 wall breakers, and then 4 barbarians and 4 archers. Looking at my spells, I've got 1 lightning spell, 1 rage spell, 1 jump spell, and 2 free spell. So I'm thinking bringing less wall breakers and a jump spell is going to help out a lot. And let's go ahead and attack this guy right here. So golems on the left and the right. Also drop my wall breakers to break through. This guy didn't have any wizard towers in the very front, so wall breakers didn't get shot down at all. And let's go ahead and clear out some of this garbage in the beginning of this guy's base and make our way into the center. So looking at the troops I have left, I still have a couple of wizards left. I was sort of worried about the giant bombs, so I didn't want to spam them all at once. There are two 2x2 gaps right there that you can see, and my troops are getting a little bit too close. I knew giant bombs were there, and yeah, they ended up blowing up a bunch of my wizards. Didn't get my witches, but that is exactly what I didn't want to happen. I knew there were giant bombs there, and I tried to get my troops to go there before my infantry got there, but unfortunately it didn't work out, and now we're going to need to make sure we get to the town hall and at least get 1 star in this raid. So we're sitting at 39%, and I actually still have a lot of wizards left. That's why it was sort of nice that I brought 16 instead of the usual 10. King and Queen are still doing work on the town hall and get that 1st star for us, and now it's a matter of whether or not we can get to 50%. So I think we're doing pretty well right now. Looks like my golems are taking a little bit of damage for me on the right hand side, or the golemites I guess, and my King and Queen, as well as I still had a P.E.K.K.A in there somewhere, ended up getting enough buildings to get to 50%. So shortly after that, I'm going to surrender, take the 14 trophies, and move on from this battle. So seems pretty typical right now that I'm finding bases with around 20 to 25 trophies. This one here actually has 26, which is really good, and let's go ahead and see if we can take this guy out. So this raid's actually going to be really funny. I'm going to tell you guys in advance. Go ahead and check out what I'm doing. I'm actually using the Barbarians in the very beginning to lure out the clan castle, which is pretty good. I'm also going to go ahead and use those archers really quickly and see how many of those guys I can get. But you're going to notice that I sort of get greedy here, and look what I do. I have my wall breakers, 14 of these guys. I dropped 2 of them, or I think 3 of them, to try to break through that wall, as well as to lure out these troops, and that was really, really silly. I just wasted 4 of those guys. I'm going to drop 1 more right here that doesn't really do anything for me. I'm going to hit a spring trap, and after all of that, I've broken through 1 layer of wall, and I've already used almost all of my wall breakers. I only have 5 of them left, and things aren't looking too good for this raid. So, because of this, I need to make sure I utilize that 1 jump spell I have left, and I need to make my way all the way to the town hall by using that 1 jump spell. And I do see an opening near that expo and that inferno tower, so I'm going to make sure I drop my jump spell to cover up all 3 of those sections, and let's go ahead and attack and see how far we can get into this guy's base. So wizards are going down. Again, there is a 2x2 section right there. If you look right next to my P.E.K.K.A, I think there's going to be a giant bomb. There is, and that's going to take care of maybe 2 or 3 wizards, so really not too bad. And I haven't dropped my King and Queen yet, and overall this raid is definitely an epic fail. I dropped my wall breakers way too early. I got greedy trying to lure out the clan castle troops. I'm going to drop that free spell, probably a redeeming point in this raid, that covered up both of the inferno towers. And now I'm really focused in on my king and wizards, and I'm just praying that those guys can take care of that town hall. So they're hopping over that first intersection, but they actually went to the air defense, which is sort of annoying and not really what I wanted them to do. As you can see, my archer queen is off to the right hand side, and since she is a ranged unit, her pathing is a little bit different than someone like the barbarian king, and it makes her a little bit special, I guess you can call her. And then on the left, my barbarian king for some reason didn't hop over into the town hall, and he ended up destroying a bunch of buildings on the left hand side, but I did end up getting 50%. And now I'm sort of just waiting on my queen when I realized since I wasted all those wall breakers, I didn't have to use my lightning spell. And since I didn't use my lightning spell, I dropped it onto the town hall, and I was sort of praying that it would hit it enough times. It ended up that I think I got 1 lightning bolt left in the hit. I think the lightning bolt hits maybe 5 or 6 times, and I think with the second to last one, it destroyed the town hall. So definitely a lucky lightning spell, and that wrapped it up for that raid. So really, really bad raid, but I'm going to show you guys most of the raids I do, even if they're epic fails. I sort of want to break them down and show you where I can improve on. For that one, definitely got greedy with the wall breakers, as well as once again the giant bombs were a pain, and for some reason my barbarian king went off to the left. But anyways, no harm, no foul. I'm going to upgrade 1 more wall, and that will wrap it up for the video today. So we're sitting at 3,396 trophies. Things are still pretty good right now. I'm still finding plenty of bases. Maximum, it might take 5 or 6 minutes to find a good base. But yeah, that's going to do it for the video. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.